why the definitions? Like why are we exploring? Like if they're
That's
always
a good question.
like if they're always changing and they meet each other and there's just this like why? Because it's actually never made sense to me. Like I was telling Karen the other day, I was like, in all my spiritual stuff, like I've never even dove down these paths of what does it mean to be masculine and feminine. Like it seems so non-essential to me.
Yeah.
And even as we're doing this, I'm trying to sort of figure out why. What's
the key to your answer is in the exploring the relationship between masculine and feminine. So, and we'll do that. So the next step for us to move into is what happens when they unify. And the key thing, because they're primary polarities.
Mm-hmm.
So the first arising out of emptiness is a thing. Anything. But it's a thing, right? And it has qualities of masculine and feminine. And what arises next also has qualities of masculine and feminine. So every single thing has qualities of masculine and feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And the first things that start to arise are forces of nature. And the experience of the self and awareness. So when awareness first arises out of emptiness, if there's no separation between what it arose from and the awareness, by definition, there's full mastery over masculine and feminine, which are the polarities that come together to create every single thing in existence.
So it's like masculine and feminine is basically the duality of form.
You can also call them yin and yang.
Yeah.
If that's helpful.
It's not. Well, it is. I mean, I guess. Yeah, maybe it is.
And
I guess it's just looking at it's duality more than.
Yeah.
Which everything in form is
Negative
duality.
And positive polarity.
Right.
I guess that makes more sense to me then.
So, which implies, first of all, if you know nothing about it, then there's no mastery over creativity. And with only one or only the other, there is no creativity. So it's about being creative and being a master at creating reality. Which if you're escaping into emptiness, or if the exploration is more toward emptiness, your focus is not on making art, making the reality as an artist. Your focus is what is emptiness, which is great, because if you have not realized emptiness to some extent, then you won't be able to create out of the polarity. You know why? Because you'll be going, I'm masculine, and like pushing out the feminine. So how can you create? It's like you're becoming a color on the palette and going, I'm red! Well, if you're red, you can't be the paintbrush, and you can't be the yellow, and you can't be everything else, right? So that's why you explore masculine and feminine.
And yet, when there's a mastery there, there's the capacity to really step into the red on a conscious level, when you can feel that that's building something in the reality, but there's not an exclusion of becoming something new through that, or the greater.
You can be fully red, and then you can be
yeah,
and then you can be green, and then I'm like the painter, and then I'm the palette, and then I'm all of them together, and we're like, and the masterpiece is just creating itself, because there's nobody there reflecting about what I want to create. It's just
doing it.
Yeah.
But if I happen to have like all these associations in my life with masculine and feminine. So when you say masculine and femininity, I'm using those associations as a gateway, like my mom or strong. And so I'm entering in through those associations and going deeper and deeper through the meditation. Kelly, you may be saying that you just have different associations, or maybe not as many. So it's almost like I'm bubbling up here in all these associations. You just said sort of like, I haven't necessarily had those associations as much. They haven't been, but there's still that experience down here or something. And then given that question, I'm also curious, would meditating on the colors be any different than masculine? Like, is it just important to have some sort of essential archetypal
Like building blocks?
experience, building blocks. Like what if we did a color meditation, like red?
Okay, so this is really good because because we're dealing with the principles of creation and how fundamental forces of nature, it applies to everything, every single technique. You could use anything and it would be fruitful potentially. So what I've tried to do is not use everything and boil it down to what are the simplest gateways that people can access things through. And then I leave it to other people to get creative and go, okay, let's work with art, let's work with colors, and like go into the colors, because that's a specific application.
Which they're probably compelled towards because it points to aspect like uniqueness and qualities that they're like greater levels of creativity in them.
Yeah, so then there's that, but then if we look at who's asking the question, which is Kelly, then we can go, oh, forget everything else and theoretical, let's feel into Kelly and where that question is coming from and inhabit that space where the question is arising and notice what happens there when Kelly's asking the question because it's specific to her right now. And Kelly can do that for herself, obviously, but if we're all listening from emptiness, that's what would happen. We're feeling, oh, Kelly's asking a question. Where's emptiness in relationship to my body? Where's the question in relationship to my body? Where's Kelly? Where's the activity? And just like when you're doing reflection technique and the reality starts to collapse and you realize, I'm having Kelly's experience right now. Oh, Kelly, am in emptiness and I'm just starting to peek out and I'm like, what's the point of all of this? What's the point of coming into creation? I could just be here and like this is so chill.
I'm okay with boredom.
Right? And so
I've been
then
on that mountaintop, I think, a lot of years. I'm ready to come down.
Yeah.
But I think there is probably something to that.
Yeah.
Feeling like that, yeah.
It's an exciting place to sit.
I think it's more of the definitions of it being labeled as such is the confusing part to me. Versus just understanding that it's just it's the polarity that comes with out of creation into form, into existence.
I think the labeling is people playing with identifications.
Yeah.
Because what happens is there's an arising out of emptiness into masculine and feminine, but we've forgot the emptiness.
Right.
So we're going, oh, what emptiness? I'm this masculine thing. Raw, 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 raw. You know? Or what emptiness? I'm the feminine thing.
Right. You know what? And as you're saying that, I guess there's a piece of me that it's like, right, I don't have these strong identities with those things. So part of me is like, why do I want to create identities around it? Why am I going there?
Yes.
So can you feel I'm emptiness?
I mean, no.
No?
That's what I was trying to do, like during the meditation, like be that I am emptiness and everything else is just moving around me.
No, I'm wondering more if your basic experience of yourself feels more like the emptiness. As opposed, you said you weren't feeling yourself so much. So
That's a really good question.
Feminine, subtle.
I'm gonna explore that. For years, I used to say I'm just this blah. Like I don't have these strong.
Yeah.
Like I'm somewhere in the middle. Like why don't I go these directions? Like I'm this. Just kind of.
Yeah.
And there's this space of. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go into it. I don't know, maybe.
I'm glad you asked that question because it realize why we're doing what we're doing. For the retreat, why we explore masculine and feminine so much is because they're the basic building blocks of reality. When you realize you're what's deeper than that, then you get to play with basic building blocks of reality in order to create different stuff all the time in every moment.
Rather than get played.
But I was trying to hear Kelly's question and come up with the really exciting, applicable in every scenario mental answer. But really, what I can do now is, what I could do is say, she asked a question about masculine and feminine, and then I could just say, well, let's go back to the question, like you said, where do you feel it in your body?
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel anything with them. Okay, where do you feel that in your body? As opposed to like, oh, this is why you don't feel, that would be building this constructive answer. But so we can use we could just use that as a gateway, even if someone's like, I feel nothing when I hear masculine, feminine.
That's the gateway.
That's the gateway. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think what you said is important. I think I can say for sure that I'm about to make a paradox. I think I can say for sure that there is never at any moment something that's applicable for everyone across time. But me saying that is like saying there's actually nothing ever applicable.
Right. That in and of itself.
Yeah, in and of itself is like itself. So.
But regardless, it goes. The inquiry
let's not go down that rabbit hole.
the inquiry is just it's the inquiry in and of itself.
Yep.
Is the point to refer to what's happening.
Yes.
And that's just what we have to keep
Yeah.
remembering.
Yeah.
And what that experience is going to be different, regardless of who
Yeah.
But that's the touch point.
Yeah.